So the scene here, Devin, is what we got going on is we have this guy, Jimmy, who is schizophrenic. Okay? So he's landed himself in kind of in a mental facility and he's not quite sure what's going on. And what's happening to him is he has this hallucination named James that is always trying to have him help him find something. But we never quite know what it is he's looking for. We're not quite sure what he's supposed to find. But what Jimmy's thinking is, if I could just help him find this thing, he'll get out of my head. Like, I won't see him anymore. But it's just this long circular thing where he can never quite figure out what it is that James actually wants. Okay? So that's the part we're going to be doing right now. And then we'll get to James's lines later. So let's do a couple of takes of James right now, excuse me. And then you have James, my bad. So then we have James. James is the hallucination. Mm-hmm. And James is a very, like, calculated, manipulative person who wants to keep Jimmy engaged and in his illness, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he's not actually looking. He comes off as kind of trying to help Jimmy, but really he's not trying to help Jimmy. He's just trying to keep him confused and in a bad place. Mm-hmm. Okay? But James is always very calculated, never loses his temper, is always very just under control. Mm-hmm. Right? And Jimmy's the one that's going to be a little bit more, he's a little bit more frantic and less aware of how he comes off with the rest of kind of society. Okay? So we're going to do James first, my bad. We're going to do James's lines first. So let's do a take of that, and then we'll talk about it, and then we will go from there. Okay. All right. So we got to roll our camera and slate this real quick so I can do both. So let's slate in. Closer to subject. Okay, let's roll camera. Camera speed.
James, take 1. Marker.
Settle in. And action.
Did you find it yet? Have you been looking? What should we do when you find it? I don't know. Well, what? Some party last night, huh? You want to go back?
And cut. All right. Good. So Devin, how you feeling?
Good. It's not too many lines.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
You're doing really good for just kind of jumping in and doing this. So I would say pretty well done for a first read. What I'd like to see is you get a little bit more, again, manipulative or antagonistic towards the end. Again, especially when we get towards that random line that comes in there, right? Maybe that's a little bit like almost like playful and antagonistic, right? So you're trying to kind of poke at him a little bit. So try to change that a little bit. And feel free to be a little bit calculated when you deliver your lines. Like, even have pause and like, don't deliver them so quickly. You can kind of take your time. Don't feel in a rush, even though you see the camera moving. Don't feel like it's rushed to get to the next line. Okay. No worries there. You got any questions?
No, that's good.
You're dialed in?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can get off the ground. All right, settle in. We got a slate again. Excuse me. Roll camera. Camera speed.
James, take 2. Marker.
And settle. And action.
Did you find it yet? Have you been looking? What should we do when you find it? I don't know. Well, what? Some party last night, huh? You want to go back?
Nice. Nice cut. That was good. That was
Thanks,
good. That was
thanks.
feeling good. I like that.
Thank you.
That was a good read. Good read. Okay, so let's when we're looking through it, I want to see if you can find a spot that maybe feels like you can kind of turn up that kind of poking at him or poking fun, trying to antagonize him. I mean, you did a great job on the one line, which was the party.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I heard one other place where you were like, again, there was a
What?
place where you can antagonize him a little bit.
But I don't know, or well, what, or.
Well, there you
which-
go. Like, yeah, so there we go.
Well, what?
So, like, again, I don't want to give you a line read or anything. I
Yeah.
don't want to do anything like that.
Yeah.
But we're trying to make it so it's like that's like, don't you understand what I'm looking for? Like, why don't you get what's going on here?
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right? Does that make sense?
So like, well, what? know,
There you go. Yeah. But again, stupid, very, very, very like stoic,
Mhm.
and not too much movement. Again, you don't get agitated. You're trying to agitate him.
Mhm.
Okay. You always keep your cool.
Okay.
But it's more in the delivery than the body language for this character.
Okay.
Okay. So let's try it one more time, and then we'll move on to Jimmy. All right. Slate in. And roll camera.
Camera speed.
James, take 3, marker.
And action.
Did you find it yet? Have you been looking? What should we do when you find it? I don't know. Well, what? Some party last night, huh? You want to go back?
And cut. Nice.
Thanks.
So, well, what? Like, that was a line that you, like,
Right.
put a little more emphasis in this take,
Mhm.
which was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So that was nice. I really like that one. Fantastic.
Alright.
So, there's something to come on this side. All right, so now we're working on Jimmy. So Jimmy is the character that has schizophrenia, right? So he doesn't quite understand that this is not reality.
Mhm.
He believes his hallucination, like wholeheartedly believes that this guy is real. And it's kind of a whole manifestation of a bunch of people in his life. It's not
Mhm.
like it's one person. It looks like him, but it's all these, it's like his mom and his dad and his coaches and his girlfriend and all kinds of people that it's made up of, right? So your objective and your goal here is to help James find whatever he's looking for so that he'll get out of your head and he'll leave you alone. Like, that's your objective in the scene. But you're just not quite sure what it is he wants.
Right.
Okay? So that's where we're headed with this side of it with Jimmy. So let's do take one and kind of see how it goes and see if you have any questions when we're done. Do you have any questions before we start this
You're
one?
gonna read it off James lines.
Do you want me to read James's lines this time?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can. It's up to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I was going to just tap his shoulder when he needed to whip pan.
Mm. I guess it's fine. Yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
Do you want me to read?
I knew that was gonna fucking
I don't
happen.
have them. I have to draw on a picture, but we'll see what happens here.
So I'm starting off, right?
Goodness.
Yeah, you're starting off on that side, then you're going to whip pan on to James's first. Your first, Jimmy, your first line is no, right? So when he whip pans on you, you can go to no.
And then just tap me every time you want me to whip.
Whip, okay.
Like even off.
And I can try to read if you want me to read. Want me to read James's lines?
I'm gonna move it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'll try to
Later.
read. I'll try to read James's lines. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's slate up. I'll go on this side. Roll camera.
Camera speed.
Jimmy, take 1, marker.
Did you find it yet?
No.
Have you been looking?
Yes, I've been looking.
What should we do when we find it?
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
Well then,
Well, what?
why am I looking for it?
Some party last night, huh?
I guess.
Let's do that again. Whip pan off him and whip pan on him.
I guess
You want to go back?
we can.
And cut that. All right. Okay. So that's a good first read. It gets a little more confusing because we got the second character we're dealing with, right? No worries there. I would say, in general, I would say
So 2 negative.
that we need to build up his frantic behavior, right? So what would somebody do that you think is just like seeing things that aren't really there?
Teaching or something like
Maybe
Yeah.
some of that.
Mhm.
What else? Maybe we do when we think somebody's in the room and we're not sure if they're there or not.
that. Looking around.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So maybe more eye movement, eye roll, but not necessarily a bunch. Like we don't want it. We want it to build up.
Mm.
So we don't want you to be all like frantic at the beginning. We want you to. We want to see the paranoia on your face.
Mhm.
But by the end, after that line, the party, that's when we should feel you struggling to get out of your position, like you want to get out of this room.
Mhm.
Okay, so try to build up that part of your physicality as you make your way towards the end of the scene.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm.
All right. Let's see if we can get there. All right, so let's see if I can do this again. Wait, ready?
Yes.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You wanna?
Yeah.
So you're reading
Where's mine?
James.
James. So I started off?
Yeah,
Okay.
but there's sometimes where we don't want him to pan, so I'm supposed to be like touching him to let him
Okay.
know. So we can stand up a little bit further here, and then I'll kind of look over your shoulder, and I'll tap him when it's time to go. So let's roll camera.
Camera speed.
Jimmy, take 2, marker.
Robson,
So you start off with him. You read James.
where are we going?
And action.
Did you find it yet?
No.
Have you been looking?
Yes, I've been looking.
What should we do when we find it?
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
Well then,
Well, what?
why am I looking for it then?
Some party last night, huh?
I guess
You want to go back?
we can.
And cut. Okay, good. Good.
You're good.
That was cool. So we're getting there.
Thanks. Okay.
Very cool.
Crystal there.
Okay, so I would say we're getting to the place we want to be.
Right.
The only note I would have for you right now would be, again, at the end, I want to see more physical struggle than I'm seeing now. Like you're trying to get out of this straitjacket at the end, and you're just like super uncomfortable once we get to that whole party line.
Okay, so once I say like I guess, I'm like,
Even before, like when it whips back to you, you're already like you're like trying to get out of this space.
okay.
Okay? But other than that, I think we're good. I just want to see more
So like
more
fidgety?
struggle, fidgety, trying to get out, but your hands are stuck
Yeah.
when we get towards that spot. But everything else feels pretty good for me.
You
And
can
when I
also-
say I guess, I'm like, I feel like,
You're agitated.
Agitated.
You're agitated and frustrated at what's going on.
check.
All right? Okay, here we go. Just trying to manipulate this space. Huh? Okay, here we go. Roll camera. Camera speed.
Jimmy, take 3, marker.
Settle in, we're panned off, and action.
Did you find it yet?
No.
Have you been looking?
Yes, I've been looking.
What should we do when we find it?
what do you want to do?
I don't know.
Well then,
Well, what?
why am I looking for it then?
Some party last night.
I guess.
You wanna go back?
We can.
Cut. Nice. Good
Thanks,
job.
That
thanks.
was awesome.
Thank
How do
you.
you feel?
Thank you. I feel great.
That was good. That was
Yeah.
fun. I had a lot of
Awesome.
good one. That one we were getting a lot closer where we wanted to be on that, so that was awesome. I think that's where we're gonna stop the exercise.
Okay, cool.
Good job, Justin and Crystal and Sylvia for the crew help. But I think that was a good fun little.